Hey, what's up, guys? We got Erik Bakich, Clemson head baseball coach. Eric and I go way back. I got to know him really well back in the day when I was in the Music City in Nashville, when they had a role in there with the Commodores. Good to talk to him. But this weekend, opening weekend, the Tigers have Oklahoma State, Arizona, and Ole Miss. Coach, I guess when they talk about kind of throwing you into the fire or into the deep end, that's what I would call the deep end.
That is definitely the deep end. No question. All three teams, awesome programs. Oklahoma State and Arizona, nationally ranked, and of course, Ole Miss is a
Yeah.
powerhouse. So, yeah, it's going to be a heck of a challenge, and I'm sure we're going to get punched right in the mouth. But it's all good. We want to win all the games like everybody out there. But I'm looking forward to having some real growth opportunities as takeaways leaving that tournament as well.
Yeah, I guess kind of looking ahead to this season, obviously, guys like me, that follow college baseball religiously, cover the sport, we knew all about Cam Cannarella. But you go back to that Florida Super Regional last year, and his offensive prowess, his incredible defense. Everybody's going to remember that catch in center forever. I'm sure you will. What have you kind of seen from him and just kind of his development as an overall player? Because I kind of feel like America, all of America now kind of knows who Cam Cannarella is, and will certainly be on display this weekend there in Arlington.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys, and every coach has had players like this in the
Hmm.
past at some point, where that one kid that can just do things on the field that other kids can't do,
Yeah.
and he's that guy. But his superpower is just the of course how competitive he is, but it's his ability to produce in the clutch, and everybody wants to quantify that and put a number on it. And he's just got that it factor. He's at his best
Hmm.
when the game's on the line, both offensively and defensively. He's got the clutch gene, and that's when you just smile and say you're glad he's on our team.
No, for sure. Well, I guess kind of looking back at the fall and kind of looking at this team right now, what did you kind of see with this club at the beginning of the fall? And where do you kind of see this club now? What have you improved on since the fall? And what is kind of the one thing is kind of going into this weekend at Globe Life that you feel like, hey, I want to see this get much better than what I saw at the end of the fall?
Yeah, I mean, the strength is the depth. We have,
Yeah.
counted 14 position players that need to be in a nine-man lineup, and I don't know how to do that. And then we have some luxury items on it from a pitching staff standpoint. We have a true ace
Yeah.
in Aiden Canuck, and then we have two seniors that have experience closing games and pitching in high leverage innings, um, with Lucas Malstad and Reed Garris. So we feel really good about the pieces that we have. The test is and the unknown is the response to adversity. Everybody's happy when you play in the fall and when you play in the preseason because you're doing basically split squads. And now you
Yeah.
got to take all this depth where everybody's used to playing every day and then cut it in half. So that's a threat. How are we going to handle playing time and roles that are going to be fair but not going to be equal anymore? And then how are we going to respond to playing a really good team in a challenge and then getting knocked down? And that's where we've been really good in the past with previous teams of being able to get back up and overcome deficits and fight
Hmm.
through adversity. But that journey, that creation of the identity along the way, you can't figure that out in the fall. You got to go through it to learn it and figure it out.
Yeah, who's maybe the one returning name and maybe the one newcomer that you think back to the fall and maybe I guess the first couple weeks here of spring, spring workouts, guys have you feel like have taken a big step forward.
Yeah, I thought, there's a couple of names, but,
Hmm.
Tristan Bissetta came on at the end of last year and had a big summer, did well in the Cape, hit some home runs and kind of showed his power. So he's a guy that, certainly is going to factor in. Jacob Jarrell has been a starter for us at various times throughout his last 2 years, and he's really emerged and is a bigger, more physical, stronger version of himself, and is just an elite receiver. And um, it's just as he's so strong, the power shows up even when he doesn't have to hit a ball as hard as he can to hit it out. And then the guy that's kind of the unknown is Tristan McClatty. This is a guy we hit him lead off against the Savannah Bananas and against Alabama. Left-handed hitter, speed, power combo, just good
Yeah.
baseball player, super utility, can play infield and outfield. So he's somebody that's factoring in for sure. Um, so excited about those guys and plenty more. I know we don't not going to go over everyone, but
Sure.
yeah, there's some benefit to guys that stay patient in a program. The default seems to be now to transfer if you don't play your freshman year, but there's a lot of value in sticking it out and in getting comfortable in a program and having some consistency. And we're starting to see some guys that are starting to make some big jumps now in their sophomores, junior, and senior year.
Absolutely. You like to see guys grow in the program. Obviously, you got to take advantage of the transfer portal that you have, and you guys have certainly done that. I guess what should Clemson fans and fans in Arlington this weekend kind of expect from Michael Gillen, the transfer from Seton Hall, who was primarily a reliever there. You guys are starting him on Saturdays, and also a newcomer in Dane Moeller, the talented freshman. What should people expect from those two guys this fall or this spring?
Yeah, I mean, Gillen's been fighting some back soreness, so I don't know how
Hmm.
much they'll see him this weekend. Maybe in a relief
Okay.
capacity, but when he's going good, he's got a power fastball. He's a guy that he's run it up there, mid to upper 90s at times, but it's a sweeper. I guess that's the new term for the slider that has big horizontal break.
Yeah.
So he's got that, and then he's been working on a change. But he's got experience, pitching with 2 great years with good numbers at Seton Hall, and he's ready to take on a more advanced role or we've been trying to build him up to go longer than just the 1-2 innings he's been going with. But he may have to ease back into it like anyone who gets dinged up. They just gotta ramp
Yeah.
back up. Um, and then Dane Moeller, he's been. I would just kind of compare, what Aiden Canuck was for us last year. Aiden
Hmm.
was different. He just more advanced, and Aiden's was all about his consistent preparation and his elite mindset. And Dane has just made some physical jumps from high school to now, um, with multiple pitches and just being able to command the ball with multiple pitches. So um, he's advanced for his time. He's certainly factoring
Yeah.
in, looking like earning himself a weekend starting job. Um, but he's certainly the right type of kid. We've been lucky to have some pretty talented freshmen the last few years, because it's getting harder and harder for freshmen to step in and make an impact.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, and on the transfer side, offensively, three guys that should make a massive impact for you guys. Guys that were mainstays in their previous programs: Luke Gaffney, Big Ten Freshman of the Year; Josh Paino, the fifth-year guy from Cal Baptist; and then Dominic Listi, a guy that I saw plenty of times over the last couple of years, was kind of a cornerstone player for Indiana State. What are you kind of seeing from those guys as we get ready for the season?
Yeah, we've always gravitated to the grad transfer, even at Michigan. Like that
Yeah.
was it just felt right. Those guys have one more year left in college baseball. They want to be part of a winner. They'll do anything. But is the way the world has changed a little bit. There's been some opportunities where guys go in and had monster years. Gaffney's
Mhm.
an example of that, where he really separated himself in the conference, and so we were fortunate to be able to pull him out of the portal. So you got these guys, and it's the difference between having reliable data, with understanding what conference they were in, their level of competition, you trust the TrackMan data, their stats are legit, um, compared to a high school kid that you can't
Yeah.
trust the stats because you don't know the level of competition, and you can't trust the data because you don't know how it was collected. And the radars are different, they're not calibrated. Some of these tournaments and events, they're just inconsistent. They don't even use 5-ounce balls sometimes, and
Yeah.
so that's been a big reason for the transfer portal. Is just as in the post-COVID world, as players have gotten old, and gotten older, and college baseball has gotten older, the opportunity to have guys just kind of plug some holes and fill some gaps has presented itself. And we've been no exception. The last 2.5 years at Clemson, and then the last few years at Michigan prior to that. But I think I know at least I speak for us, but I know a lot of coaches feel this way too. You
Yeah.
still want to build your program with the high school player and have those 3 and 4 year relationships.
Hmm.
But when you have departures of guys who have big shoes, left some big shoes to fill, like for us, we lost 70 something home runs last year. You're not going to fill that all the time with first year collegiate players. You need some guys with experience and some credentials, and so Pano and Listy and Gaffney certainly bring that to the table.
Yeah, and we'll see what they show this weekend in Arlington. I guess my last question here, I'm gonna have a little fun with you. Back over during the off season, you guys had the event with the Savannah Bananas. Some articles of clothing might have been removed. I got a question. Did Jiffy approve that?
She definitely did not. The one who was mortified was my 10-year-old daughter. She could not believe that Dad took his shirt off on the field and was so embarrassed. And so I didn't hear the end of that one for a while. But Jiffy, I think, was okay with it. My daughter Tempe was not.
Well, the good news for everybody in attendance this weekend, unfortunately, Coach cannot coach the first two games because he had a little dust up last year in the Super Regional. So you promised to keep everything on the final day of this tournament.
No promises, Kendall, but we'll see what happens.
You got it, man. Well, hey, the Clemson Tigers, the number 15 team in the country with a lot more upside than that, open the season this weekend at Globe Life. I look forward to seeing you this weekend, EB.
Hey, look forward to seeing you. Thanks, Kendall. Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Be good.
Okay, see ya.